Yo, what's up? This is Yespansu, aka Show. We are back again with the Warhammer Reacts. Today we're going to be watching Bricky's every single Warhammer 40k faction explained. It's been a while since I've watched the intro to Warhammer 40k videos, so we'll see how this one goes. Okay, alright, let's go. Let's do this.
As someone who doesn't necessarily serve the Omnissiah, but someone who can appreciate them, you will not be getting my legs today, as I will be replacing them with various things depending on which faction we are currently talking about.
Oh, wait, that's actually so funny. Look, he's so slayed. Look at his ripped jeans.
A little bit more context and possible comedy too.
Hey, yo, the anime girl legs? Yo, this is some next level editing.
Whatever the hell I am currently doing. So, hello everybody, my name is Bricky, and this is going to be a long video and a large project that has been going on for quite some time.
He's got his skirt out of shape just for this. For real.
This is every single Warhammer 40k race in kind of a nutshell, explained, a little bit of explanation, a little bit of lore, a little bit of talking about the tabletop, mostly lore, what they're all about, and also a little bit of background for those of you who just have no clue what Warhammer 40,000 is. Now,
that's me!
Warhammer and Warhammer 40,000.
That's for me! I have no idea what I mean, I kind of have an idea of what Warhammer 40k is, but I generally still don't have an idea.
Is a universe people hear plenty of but don't know a whole lot about. They see, oh, there's these dudes in big power armor with chainsaw swords, and they got these big old green orcs, and there's some bugs over there, and everyone calls these guys weebs. And then there's
weebs? Wait, did I hear right? Weebs? Who are the weebs?
These spiky bitches over here, and I don't get
spiky
it.
Bitches.
I don't understand. Where do I start? Well, this video is particularly for you, or for those of you who have
heretical
viewers,
viewers,
but you're kind of curious about each of the different races and factions in Warhammer. So overall, the Warhammer universe is vast when it comes to lore and back.
This is a giant map. If that is all, like, all-encompassing of whatever is in the Warhammer universe, no wonder why this video is 50 minutes long. Weed and weebs. Oh, the Gundam anime faction. I see.
Background.
That's a giant universe.
Is so different with the things that they believe in, and some are human, some are transhuman, like where they all have all these crazy ass
I remember that.
electronics on them. You've got aliens and you've got the chaos factions, and there's so much to entail that I decided to embark on this project to tell you what each and every single one of them is about, and what the Warhammer universe is about as well, to give at least a little bit of an intro to this extremely bloated but very, very enjoyable world that I and many others partake in. So, I will be explaining every single faction in the Warhammer 40k universe, at least all the factions you can play as, and some smaller factions here and there. I will not be discussing absolutely everything in it, because that is a little bit much, and I'm not going to...
not everything, but you know, he covers most of it.
I'm going to go too mega deep into the lore. I'm going to give you a pretty solid overview of each of the different factions, and have you learn a little bit about them, and we'll discuss a little bit of the tabletop as well, in case
with
you
the
were curious about
tabletop.
that. But for this episode entirely, we are discussing the Imperium of Man, because that takes up a fat chunk of Warhammer lore.
Wait, is the Imperium of Man the time period of things that happened? Because I remember from the last video, they had like people, they had different I can't find the words for this. They had different timelines for things that happened in different eras of things, right? Also 40,000 years in the future. Yes, I remember that.
What is Warhammer 40,000? Well, the 40,000 starts off is the year 40,000. The 41st
there you go. Okay, he explains it.
Takes place is in the year 40,000, 41,000 AD. You're already more knowledgeable. Let me read.
Yeah, see, I am knowledgeable. I've been knowledged. And yes, this is a Bricky video. We're currently reacting to the Bricky Warhammer faction video, because I watched his intro to Warhammer video a while back. But that one is on YouTube, so if you guys do want to check it out, of me reacting to the first Warhammer 40k, it's somewhere on YouTube. On my YouTube. Oh, the See, so many words, so many different things.
Read you a quote, first of many quotes in this video. It is the 41st millennium. For more than 100 years, the Emperor has sat immobile on the golden throne of Earth. He is the master of mankind by the will of the gods, and master of 1,000,000 worlds by the might of his inexhaustible armies. He is a rotting carcass, writhing invisibly with power from the dark age of technology.
That's a lot of text.
He is the carrion lord of the Imperium, for whom 1,000 souls are sacrificed every day, so that he may never...
Oh, it's that guy! Oh, right, yeah, he's that guy where people just feed the harvested souls to, so he's like immortal. Is he the Emperor? The one that people are like, for the Emperor. It's him. Okay, that is the Emperor. I remembered right. I remembered something. Yeah, I don't know how they're getting 1,000 people to give him every single day, but no wonder why they were facing like a mass extinction or something. If you're just harvesting 1,000 people every single day.
Die. To be a man in such times is to be amongst untold billions. It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable.
And bloody.
These are the tales of those times. Forget the power of technology and science, for so much has been forgotten, never to be relearned. Forget the promise of progress and understanding, for in the grim, dark future, there is only war. There is only war amongst the stars, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter, and the laughter of thirsting gods. Everything blows, and it blows fucking hard. Warhammer is probably the most dark and depressing universes ever in fiction. Or at least like
sounds about it.
Everything is so absurdly horrible, destructive, or overpowered that it all kind of ends up canceling itself out. It's like Dota. War rages.
I don't know how bad Dota is, but I mean, this world already sounds pretty grim. 1,000 every day is no problem. Ah, okay. So it's a small sacrifice. Just a small sacrifice for the power of our Emperor.
Across the galaxy. Interstellar travel is only possible due to sacrificing 1,000 souls a day to a rotting carcass of a man.
Yes, the rotting man.
To be your god. Demonic gods and just demons tear open the fabric of reality on a whim. Other Xenos or even other humans end up killing each other in untold billions across the galaxy. It is a time of unending war, slaughter, and a bloodbath amongst everybody.
Imagine living in the Emperor's place, though. Because, like, you have the people going out to harvest the souls, and then you have people who, I guess, tend inside the inner palace. And if his daily multivitamin is 1,000 people, imagine, like, how they feed it. What if they're like, all right, Emperor, you know, open wide, eat your vitamins to survive. Yeah, imagine being the guy washing him and tending to him when he's just there like,
Planets are deemed unrecoverable and are completely destroyed on a whim. Everything sucks, but that's like the charm of it. See,
the charm of it.
Warhammer is evil, but being evil is kind of fun. Like, humanity in its own right is a xenophobic, prejudice, and religious zealot group.
That's true. Everything is evil in this. Like, everyone's evil. It's just some are more evil than others, apparently.
That kill each other just as much as they kill all of their enemies. And they're like mid to high tier evil on the evil scale.
Yeah, there you go. Evil, mid to high tier evil. That guy, who's that guy? My roles is the most evil. That guy, Tau players, Imperial Man, Elder, Orcs, Tyranids, playing low tier for fun. I don't know what that means. Playing by intent, guys who brings food.
Of Warhammer, nobody is good. No matter who you are, everyone is some flavor, some color of evil. Whoever you pick, you are going to be the bad guy. But that's the fun of it. Because being the bad guy is badass. Villains are cool. They look cool, they got cool outfits, they got cool weapons, they got cool armies. Villains are cool, man. And when everyone is a villain, everyone is pretty cool. That's what makes this so charming, is that everyone can be the bad guy. So let's start off talking
Everyone's a
about
bad guy. Yeah, at this point, I'm the bad guy. No, I'm badder. No, I'm badder. No, me.
the main bad guy, quote unquote, the Imperium of Man.
Imperium and Horus
The
Heresy.
Imperium of Man is the main empire
Just playing the
of
baddie.
human race. All of humanity is under this one flag called the Imperium. And about 10,000 years ago, there was a man. He was the emperor of mankind, a 10-foot-tall psychic demigod who led humanity across the stars to colonize tons and tons of worlds.
Okay, this sounds familiar. This lore sounds familiar.
Oh, this is
This sounds familiar. I think I remember this lore. Everyone's space racist, everyone's bad. And I am also bad.
superhuman soldiers and really bring humanity into a new age. This man, the Emperor of Mankind, was a psyker. And a psyker is like a magician of sorts. In the world of 40k, there is the warp, the immaterium, kind of like hell, but sort of like a purgatory dimension of hell. And a psyker is someone who can take that power and manifest it through their mind to use it to do stuff. Like,
oh, right. They use their big brain power.
Witchcraft stuff, magician stuff, spells, and lots of other things, but we don't want to get too into that. The Emperor, big boy psyker,
Big
top
boy.
tier, A+, maybe even S. Now, the Emperor created a bunch of sons. Yes, created a bunch of sons known as the Primarchs. He created 18 Primarchs to have them lead all
Oh, right, those are his sons, right? And then they all become the factions.
of the different legions of humanity to the different stars and plans to help colonize and bring it out. These Primarchs are basically like little versions of the Emperor. Not all of them are psychers, but a lot of them are very, very powerful, and they lead his special Space Marine legions. Then
Space
this
Marines.
big clusterfuck happened called the Horus Heresy, where the Emperor's favorite son, the Primarch, Horus, ended up joining Chaos and leading 9 of the 18, half of his Primarchs directly to Earth to fight down the Emperor himself. Now,
Okay, so evil, and then evil, extra evil, question mark? He's a god emperor and only had 20 kids, yeah. I mean, even if you're a god emperor, having that many kids can be a little too much. They can get in your way of world domination sometimes.
if you want to know what chaos is, remember what I mentioned earlier, the warp, that immaterium, the hellish place? In there relies the 4 chaos gods. Imagine like Satan and 3 other Satans. The warp being kind of evil, those chaos gods, that's the reason. And so those chaos gods manipulated Horus, and then Horus helped manipulate all 8 other Primarchs to lead this giant coup directly on the Emperor on Earth. And they fucked up shit. After this huge civil war, Horus died, but not before brutally wounding the Emperor, and right at the end of his life, they put the Emperor on this large golden throne on Earth, in which he is now alive, just barely, but slowly rotting away, powering something called the Astronomicon, so long as he stays alive, and is fed 1,000
souls a day. And that is how... and that is how we need 1,000 people a day to feed the rotting away emperor. A few more spares, exactly. Just a few more spares. And yes, it is indeed Bricky.
The Astronomicon is like the North Star. If you want to do interstellar travel in 40k, you need to pass through that demonic warp I mentioned earlier. But how do you know where you're going? Well, the Emperor is there putting a nice little navigator right there. He helps navigate you to know where you're going. If you want to...
The Emperor's a GPS? The Emperor has a built-in GPS? Ayo?
Go from Earth to some crazy solar system across the way, you need to go through that warp and then you need to know where you're going, go through there, and pop your way out. It's like doing nether travel in Minecraft, so you can shorten the distance between going to areas.
I didn't even know that you could do that in Minecraft, nether travel. Like, you have to know where to go. I've never actually been to the nether before. The Emperor is more the GPS than the satellite. True, true.
So long as the Emperor is alive and being fed 1,000 people a day to stay alive, you can do that.
Okay, so that makes sense then. If it's the most powerful machine and it makes the warp traveling safe. Because, like, if people are like, oh, you know, you have to die for the Emperor so that all these other people can keep warp travel safe. You know, your death is a valiant death. Your death is for the good of others. And then, you know, people will be like, oh, you know, I don't mind dying if it'll keep the warp open. I've used the warp before. I've been helped by it.
The moment he dies, interstellar travel's gone for all of humanity. You're so boned. Now, since the Horus Heresy 10,000 years ago, the Imperium has fallen from grace substantially. All technology has started to dwindle and die. There is now
for the GPS,
religious extremists
the great GPS.
The Emperor of mankind was a deity, a true living god, which is probably the last thing the Emperor would have wanted to be remembered for. So now you have this thing called the Ecclesiarchy, which is this giant church entirely devoted to spreading the good word of the Emperor. He is now the holy God, the God Emperor of mankind, and all of the Imperium has taken up worshipping him to the fullest extent and killing anything that isn't humanity in his name.
Killing anything that isn't humanity in his name. So that is Space Racists 1, right? Or is that the lesser bad guys?
Imperium has this futuristic gothic tone to it and a hefty religious zealotry to them. If you think anything against the Emperor, that's heresy and you deserve to die. That is called being a heretic. Heretics die in 40K. There is no such thing as freedom of religion. There is no such thing as freedom of speech, so long as you are against the Emperor. There is no such thing as any kind of tolerance. Everyone is a religious zealot.
Everyone who isn't a human and who doesn't believe in the Emperor shall die.
Some more than others, but
especially this guy. Who's that guy?
You're preaching that good word. So right now, everyone in humanity is trying to expand their empire across the stars. If you are a heretic, someone who doesn't believe in the Emperor, you are deserving of death. If you believe in the Chaos Gods, you are also a heretic and you deserve death. If you are an alien race of any kind, you are a filthy Xenos and you deserve death as well. So long as the murder continues and humanity expands, the Imperium of Man is very, very happy. However, the largest fighting force of this Imperium is my personal favorite faction, and the first faction we will discuss, the Astra Militarum, or also known as the Imperial Guard.
Pretty shit now, man.
Imperial Guard. Wait, are these the Space Marines, or are these different people?
Game over, man.
The Imperial Guard is the main fighting force of the Imperium, and in a world of horrifying creatures, galactic monstrosities, the literal demons themselves breaking through the fabric of time to kill you, the Imperial Guard are untold.
Oh, okay, yeah, they do look like normal human. They look like the average wartime soldiers you see in our world. Yeah, they look pretty average in this image.
Billions of regular men and women wearing modern day like flak armor with a laser rifle. This is the humble las gun.
The las gun.
The main weapon of the Imperial Guard. It fires superheated plasma lasers at an extremely fast fire rate.
Oh, that's why it's called las gun, because laser and gun combined.
Reliable, never jams. It can blow off limbs, giant holes in concrete. It is overall an extremely devastating weapon in modern day. It is one of the weakest in the 40K universe. Yeah.
A flashlight. The the weakest gun is the laser gun, and it's called a flashlight. That's crazy.
A laser rifle that never jams, it could blow off limbs, one of the weakest weapons. That's the world we're in right now.
Wow.
But who cares? Because the Imperial Guard has, in each battle, 500,000 of these men and women. 30,000
That's a lot of
large
people.
armored tanks, 10,000 artillery batteries.
That's like a small city. 500,000 people.
Imperial Guard wins through sheer numbers and firepower. They kind of have this World War I, World War II style aesthetic with legions of guardsmen as well as high company commanders and generals on the field along with them, and multiple kinds of troops. A normal Imperial Guard battle starts off with artillery, long lines of artillery, cracking the crust of the planet underneath the enemy's feet. And as this barrage continues, hundreds of thousands of guardsmen, a sea of guardsmen surges forward, firing and charging at everything possible.
So it's like in those wartime movies where they just pan away with their troops and they're like, go! And then you just see a bunch of people like ants just moving towards and surging towards something. This is basically it, right?
While the planet rumbles as tanks roll up behind them. Gunships block out the sun and tanks block out the dirt with the steps and hoofprints of millions of guardsmen. It is through numbers and sheer sundering firepower. They are the first and last line of defense for the Imperium and make up a huge bulk of the battles. The Imperial Guard is also made up of tons of different kinds of regiments. The Catachin Jungle Fighters live in
Whoa, jungle fighters like Street Fighter?
a death world that's
Is that a grenade? Does he just have a grenade strapped on him so he can just throw it anytime?
more hospitable than almost any
Yeah, this universe probably would smell very terrible. It doesn't look like they shower at all.
firefight they'll ever get into.
Especially when their emperor is a rotting corpse, you know? Like, if your god that you worship is if it's a rotting corpse, everything else probably smells better in comparison.
So they just have this steroid-looking, giant knife, Rambo Predator-looking sons of bitches, where nothing is anywhere near as scary as a simple night on their home planet. You have the Valhallan Winter Soldiers who haven't felt
Russia!
their toes in 300 years, the Mordian Iron Guard, who are more interested in making their shoes shine than actually fighting a battle, and then of course the big one, the Cadians from
Cadians.
Cadia. The biggest export of guardsmen in the entirety of the Imperium. You will fire your first gun at 5. You will disassemble and reassemble it at 10. You will have pounding artillery drills day in and day out at 15. And you'll fight your first swarm lord at 16. And if you mention Cadia, you will burst into an unrelenting amount of tears and sadness like I do daily. To quote, I have at my command an entire battle group of the Imperial Guard, 50 regiments including specialized drop troops, stealthers, mechanized formations, armored companies, combat engineers, and mobile artillery. Over 500,000 fighting men and 30,000 tanks and artillery pieces are mine to command. Emperor, show mercy to the fool that stands against me, for I shall not. The Imperial Guard...
Okay, so wait, these guys are like the religious dudes, right? Or are these different factions? Do these people all act for the Emperor?
Favorite faction in 40k. They're the army I collect the most, the ones I enjoy playing the most, and the one I enjoy in the lore sense a lot. There's something about just a regular man with a laser rifle being told to charge the horrors of this universe and willingly doing so for...
So they're a sub-faction of man, but not all of them worship the Emperor. Even though most of the humans or man worship the Emperor.
Or his god Emperor. It's just poetic. They actually represent the main Imperial Guard tactics pretty well. Large amounts of artillery that doesn't require a line of sight, lots of tanks, tons of infantry, drop troops, and gunships. Overall, they're pretty similar to how they sound, though a little bit expensive to collect.
Or these are all the Warhammer minis.
Unfortunately, and they don't hit a lot. They have a bit of a bad aim, but you don't really care because you're just drowning them in shots. However, if you want more accurate fire and specialization, we can move on to talk about Space Marines.
Huh?
The Angels of Death are up next.
Space Marines? Space Marines?
Space Marines are genetically engineered super soldiers and superhumans. They're given extra organs, their skin tissue is toughened, their bones are stronger, they're taller than the average person. They're pretty massive people, and these are the specialized super soldiers that carry out a lot more specific tasks for the Imperium. And there's tons of legions of them. In fact, there's one per Primarch. Each Primarch, the Emperor's son, as I mentioned before.
So they're like the Gundams, like Warhammer Gundams of each Primarch.
Oversees their legion of Space Marines. The genetic upgrade they get is based on the genes of said Primarch. It's something called a gene seed. That's what brings them up to this like superhuman level. As stated, each Primarch has their own.
Also, they've been genetically modified based on the Primarchs, but like better, so that they can work for their Primarchs.
Legion. Robot Girly Man has the Ultramarines. Jagatai Khan has the White Scars. Rogel Dorn has the Imperial Fists. Corvus Corax has the Raven Guard. And there's a whole bunch of other side sections that are also extremely interesting and have a little bit more of a twist on the average Space Marines, which we will discuss in a bit. Humorously enough, I don't have a whole lot to say about Space Marines. They're superhumanly fast. In fact, it's been said that nothing that large should move that quick. These men in power armor moving at blazing fast speeds.
Are they even people anymore at this point? If they've been so genetically modified that they look like this?
Their reflexes are faster, their skin is tougher. They are overall just extremely powerful soldiers.
Yeah.
In fact, where they differ comes down to which Space Marine Legion we're talking about. For instance, the Ultramarines done.
Oh, okay, so there's human, but like juiced up. They're just superhumans, but they still look like humans. Looks like those gym bros that overdose on steroids, not gonna lie.
Robot Girliman, Gilliman, are the main blue boys. Strong in almost every way, the jack of all trades kind of group that are a little bit too strong, and that's a lore problem, but the White Scars by Jagatai Khan are all about speed freaks, go fast. We're talking attack bikes, we're talking land speeders. You want to go in quick, you want to hit them.
Whoa, those are some cool dirt bikes though. I guess like their bodies are so big, so they need bikes to kind of compensate for that. And their arms look so short in the images.
Hard, you want them to be swarming around like buzzflies, buzzsaws, with the speed of buzzsaws.
Buzzsaws?
Fuck you, Pale King. Salamanders love fire. Fire in the forge, fire in battle. Flamers, melta-guns, multi-meltas. Just so long as something can be burning, that's big. And they're also actually some of the nicest of the Space Marines. A lot of Space Marines have this kind of like holier-than-thou thing because of their genetic strength. However, the Salamanders tend to put human lives above the lives of themselves, which is actually rather rare. They're also all black, but not like just regular black, like 2 a.m. line at a White Castle. Black. Like they have a charcoal, dark, ashy exterior and blazing red eyes.
Whoa. Also, never been to White Castle before. I feel like you guys have told me about White Castle, but I've never tried White Castle before. More pseudoscience. Space Marine went balls to the wall with a lot of stuff.
Apparently something about living on their home planet of Nocturne, which I don't know if that makes much sense, but who cares? This is like fantasy land anyway. Overall, Salamanders are actually one of my personal favorite legions because they're just really cool. They're fun to play as because of all their flamer weapons, and they have a nice, like, more heartwarming lore as opposed to being super evil like everyone.
That's true. That's true. Sounds like they're the nicest evil people out there out of all the other evil people.
Else's. Oh my god, we're not even a quarter of the way through the Space Marine legions. Imperial Fists believe in the power of the siege and defensive positions. Raven Guards, master of stealth and sabotage.
Oh, that's an interesting helmet.
Iron Hands, masters of machines and vehicles while being really goddamn good at being sold on eBay after one nerf. Space
sold
Wolves,
on eBay?
Vikings.
Sold on eBay after one nerf? What does that even mean? White Castle's the most depressing burger. Then, okay, so what you're saying is I should avoid White Castle.
And wolves and tons of wolves and axes, battle axes, fur everywhere, space wolves, angry,
Wolves!
big teeth, blood angels, the genetic defect to make them want to drink blood and go crazy called the red thirst. They have cupid wings and stuff, which is a little bit strange, and they are all super gay for Sanguinius. Dark
Eh? Wait. Super gay for Sanguinius? Vampire Mans? Vampire Mans? Twilights?
angels are old school knights and inner circle theme and
Gay faction? Ayo?
No, never. Once from the blue moon, I know.
Death Watch, a fancy pantsy anti-Xenos group that nobody plays because Death Watch, and they look cool though, but no one plays them. I don't know about Death Watch. They're there though. Black Templars, for the people who, if you haven't prayed at least 3 times a day, you're gonna start praying out that airlock, and I'm sure some other chapters I may have missed as well, like Crimson Fists and stuff, but those are the main ones right here. Here, quote from the Emperor himself. They shall be my finest warriors, these men who give of themselves to me. Like clay I shall mold them, and in the furnace of war I shall forge them.
Wait, this is from the rotting emperor who's being fed 1,000 souls a day, right? Yeah, I did not expect the gay faction either. Their Primarch is Sanguinius. So they just all love the Vampire Man, is what I'm hearing.
They shall be of iron will and steely sinew. In great armor I shall clad them, and with the mightiest weapons shall they be armed. They
That's what he said before he had to sit on the throne. Oh, okay.
will be untouched by plague or disease. No sickness shall blight them. They shall have such tactics, strategies, and machines that no foe will best them in battle. They are my bulwark against the terror. They are my defenders of humanity. They are my space marines, and they shall know no fear. And on the tabletop, they fuck. Oh, they fuck hard. As of making this video,
Can you guys confirm? Do they go hard on the tabletop? I mean, these figurines look pretty cool. They look so detailed here.
Space Marines are laughably strong. That might change at some point, but overall, Space Marines just have it's like a Swiss Army knife, a tool for anything you need, except it's like a gold-plated Swiss Army knife. It is extremely strong. If you are actually getting into the tabletop of Warhammer, Space Marines are a great start. Also, whatever game
Okay, so they're super tanky, is what I'm hearing. Can't die. You're basically set. You won't be able to die.
Have, whether you want to be sit back with long range and heavy weaponry, go fast and run in, or even just full melee, all of these options are totally there for you. Space Marines are super badass, but unfortunately, it's time we start praying to our new god, the 2011 Honda Civic.
So is it any wonder people are
The Honda
afraid of
Civic.
technology?
The Adeptus Mechanicus. The Adeptus Mechanicus are a technophile cult on Mars. Now,
Interesting.
These people are
A cult on Mars. So we're getting out of worship the human empire territory, and this is robots. Robots on Mars.
a little bit weird because they don't actually really believe in the Emperor of Mankind. And you might think, oh, whoa, Bricky, that sounds like some heresy. A little bit. They believe in the Emperor, they believe in his power, but they don't pray to him. They pray to something called the Omnissiah. And the Omnissiah is this kind of machine god that they believe permeates in all machines.
Sounds like heresy to me.
And if you think, well, wait a minute, they believe in a different god as well? That sounds like super heresy. Well, yes-ish.
Yes-ish.
They also make all your guns, and they make all your tanks, and they make everything that you have. So you can't really tell them to fuck off?
That's true. That's true. They supply everything you have. You can't really do that. Or else they'll just stop giving you guns and you're screwed. You're dead. You're dead.
Because you're not going to win nothing if you don't got stuff to shoot people with. See, their Omnissiah at least makes sense from their standpoint. They believe it to be a deity that permeates through all machines. Your Honda Civic, your standard bolt gun, your Doom.
Okay, but I want a Honda Civic. Honda Civics are nice to drive. To the exception, I see. Overlook a little heresy for the sake of convenience. That's true. How will we fight everyone else? if we don't have our guns. You know what, these guys, they don't believe in our emperor. Yeah, no, that's an exception. We need our guns. It's all right. It's fine.
Strider Walker, your giant mechs, your huge ships.
Yeah, it's literally
Armor Side is
everything.
Present through all. And the only reason your stuff works is because the machine's spirit in it says it works. If you want your gun
The
to
machine's
work, your
spirit.
tank
The machine has their own body. It has their own spirit. It has a soul. The machine talks to you.
to run, you must pray to it.
You must
And I
pray
mean
to it.
Full stop. You need to start chanting.
So the machine is AI. The machine has a brain of its own. Isn't that what's happening now with AI? Our machines have a brain to it, and we gotta, you know, chant to it.
In high Gothic, you need to burn incense. You need to sit on your knees and pray
Whoa.
to that car. You need to rub
Whoa.
oil on your robes, and you need to go ahomina, homina, 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 homina. Full stop. If you want your damn thing to work, if you want your gun to fire, you need to do that. They are very bizarre, and they actually have a bit of a point because it's obviously working. And
It works.
if you look at them, I don't know how that works. So they obviously know something about what they're doing. The most notable member of the
Yeah, exactly. If you piss off your phone or computer, it just stops working. So maybe they're onto something. There's in presence of the machine god. AI is the machine god. What if that's the case?
Adeptus Mechanicus is Magos, whatever. Belisarius Call. Look at this dude. Look at this dude.
Whoa, how does he carry all that on his back?
This is the group we're talking about. These are these weirdos. Here, the Omniscian Creed. The credo, Omnissiah. There is no truth in flesh, only betrayal. There is no strength in flesh, only weakness. There is no constancy in flesh, only decay. There is no certainty in flesh, but death.
Therefore, machine is life. Machine is everything. Humanity is death.
Flesh is weakness, flesh is death. The Omnissiah is the god of the machines, and if you wish to be whole, if you wish to be holy, if you wish to give unto him, you must saw down your limbs and remove your organs and replace them with mechanical parts.
Wait. So all these people, they're like humans, but they're cyborgs. But like, they're still humans, but they just replace their parts with machines, so they're like 80% machine. Oh. How does that even work? Do they have like robot surgery? Like, do they get put under or something? I wonder what the survival rate for that is. That's wild. They're GMO humans at this point, but more machines.
Because that is what he wants, and that is how
That's
you
crazy.
become enlightened. Hard technophiles mixed with religious extremism. Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, for their army side of things, they are with the Scutari. The Scutari operate with very bizarre weaponry and lots of different kinds of vehicles, tanks, and different people in between. They're very weird, but they have extremely wacky and enjoyable, and in fact quite effective.
How
both
weird
in
are
the
we
real
talking?
game and in the lore, weaponry and gear. Overall, as an army on the tabletop, they're very weird and have a whole bunch of different shenanigans. But if you like kind of that
So like shenanigans as in they have a lot of arms and legs to reach around, like Doc Ock type of thing? 20 to 30k. Wow, that's a long time. Okay, the more non-organic you are, the more you're revered.
quirky, wacky techno thing, I'd give them a pickup. Hell, they're so paranoid. I gotta keep going. They're so paranoid and crazy. These Dune Striders you see right here, one guy was able to make them work. One guy, and he died. And they're so scared they'll never work again.
He died?
They keep them on and they never turn them off, and they run around in a circle the whole time.
He keep them on and never turn them off. So like they're glorified PCs. They're basically PCs with sentience.
Until they need them, and then they corral it and they go into battle. Yep. The Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, if you want to talk about faith, though, let's talk about the Sisters of Battle.
Whoa.
Eagle in Lego City.
The Sisters of Battle of the Adeptus Sororitas, if that's how I pronounce it correctly,
Sisters of
is an
Battle.
all-female group of
Women.
battle sisters going through the ecclesiarchy section of the Imperium. The ecclesiarchy is, of course, the
Okay, so these sisters, they're for the Emperor. They do stuff for the Emperor.
church. This is, imagine a private army of the church, which is scary. And it is. The
That looks
sisters
scary.
are an extremely zealotous force, and they take this to a full extreme. They believe in three main things: faith,
Whoa.
martyrdom, and fire. Through the bolter,
Fire.
the flamer, and the melta, the Sisters of Battle are extremely potent at taking out chaos and heretics.
Whoa. They do look pretty badass, though. The sisters look so badass. They look more badass than the Space Marines. I agree.
Mainly heretics, because as they are a fighting section of the ecclesiarchy church, that's the big thing they want to kill. Any form of
Ooh.
heretic will face the Emperor's justice through those three main weapons: the bolter, the flamer, and the melta, and they will do so with extreme prejudice.
Extreme
Literally, they are the
prejudice.
closest things we have to nuns in space, and I'm talking hardcore nuns. They
Space
carry
nuns.
holy fire on their backs. They have holy books and sigils all across their armor. Their main battle tank is a fucking pipe organ missile launcher. They
Wait,
have-
that's wild. A pipe organ missile launcher? How does that even work? Every time you like launch a missile, you just hear boom, bum, 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 bum. You know, enjoying some pipe organ music while you're in battle.
have small babies that they have like removed their brain capacity to make them little servant cherubs.
Excuse me? Also, Luma Ray, welcome. Thank you for following. Little, those look like demon babies. Those do not look like cherubs, okay? They do not look angelic at all. They look like horrible demon babies that got bird wings attached to them, and
Oh, this is show stream?
they have combat
fly
cherubs,
around and
apparently.
give them ammunition and shit. They drop churches from low orbit as mini drop pods onto battles. They drop
Damn.
churches into battles.
So they just drop churches down, and then they squish people. They're like, this is the new land now for the Emperor! And then everyone else who's just unfortunately down there is just smushed. That's crazy. Also,
And they blare war hymns and holy music from their frigates in low atmosphere and shower holy water across the battlefield.
is this what colonization is? Is this what colonization was?
These are the people you are dealing with, and they're fucking awesome. They can literally stave off demons on
Whoa.
the tabletop because their faith is that strong. Remember, the
Whoa.
war
So they just have an aura of faith that's like a force field. And with that, they drop churches.
demons from the warp. Well, the warp also manifests in your mind. All of your emotions, negative and positive, go through the warp. It's the immaterium, the place of all things. So if you are that mentally fortified, that mentally strong, you can stave off horrifying
Ooh.
demons.
Fortified. So their prayers are like, fortification! Fortified! House of God on your location, 30 seconds, clear the drop zone. Clear. Wow. I mean, organ sounds. Whoa.
And all these girls, oh, not a crack. Not a crack in that mental armor. Now, as much as a meme as they are, and as much as their models look a lot like Ongo Gabrielian, yeah, which I can't unsee anymore. I gotta say,
Wait, they all have white wigs. All the nuns have the same hairstyle. They all have the white bobs. They're like white-haired Edna Mose. I can't unsee this now. I can't unsee the white bobs. They're all Lady Gaga. They're all Lady Gaga ready to sing Bad Romance. Ayo. Their battle cry. Whoa, 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 whoa. Caught in a bad romance.
Love their design. I think they're extremely cool. They're another army that I'm currently collecting. They just released a whole new line of figures.
That's honestly, those figures are pretty cool though. That pipe organ missile truck thing there looks like an actual thing that belongs in a church.
Very recently, and they look wonderful. Everything from Celestine, the living, literally undying saint, from the triumph of Saint Catherine, which is literally a funeral procession as a model. Those organ tanks I mentioned earlier. This shit is the most over-the-top badassery in a lot
Honestly
of the Warhammer
though,
universe.
besides the
These goddamn
colonization,
things are over the top,
it is
but
pretty badass.
Sisters of Battle are so cool. While I'm a guardsman at heart, this is such a cool faction. By Bolter Shell, Flamer Burst, and Melta Blast, the mutant, the heretic, and the traitor alike are cleansed of their sin of existence. So it has been for 5 millennia, so shall it be until the end of time.
So shall it be. Amen.
And speaking of burning demons.
Burning demons.
The Grey Knights are the first army I actually collected back in 7th edition. The Grey Knights are a super secretive and much more old school look.
Grey Knights. So these are also part of the church. If the Crusades had aura.
At power armored knights, except they are all psychers.
They're all
of them
psychers.
have that crazy space magic magician shit.
Ooh,
For every
the
100,000
magicians.
guardsmen, there's 1 Grey Knight. For every 10,000 Sisters of Battle, there's 1 Grey Knight. For every 1,000 Space Marines, there's 1 Grey Knight.
So they're like extra specialized. So they're super good at combat. They're like the special ops. I see. So it's like SSR tier.
Grey Knights are the strongest of the strong, both in mental will and absolute just strength. These are Space Marines that are all high-level psychers, all of them able to specifically do one goal, and that is kill demons. The Emperor believed that the demons of chaos were the #1 threat to the Imperium, and he probably is right. However, this group is entirely based on doing that through a myriad of tactics. Coming from the planet, or I guess the moon of Titan in the Sol system, the Grey Knights are thrown through extremely rigorous training and are as clear of mind and soul as they possibly can be. Since the demons of the warp are the warp and your mind projects to the warp, people can go insane very fast, especially lower level psychers. These Grey Knights...
Okay, so they're like ultra psychers that are just protected against everything.
Be able to harness the warp in the presence of demons and stay perfectly sane. One of their characters, one of my favorite characters, is named Castellan Crow. He has a demon blade, the black blade of Mahamahama, and he has to have it on him because it tempts everyone nearby, constantly beckoning them. Use my power, use my strength, suck my penis, whatever.
What did I hear that right? Use my power, use my strength. Hey yo.
Possibility, and so he has to keep it
Suck what?
on him all the time as this thing whispers to him consistently, and he has to stave it off forever, being alone in his chambers or on the battlefield, because
alone in his chambers. That's crazy.
Close to it might be tempted a little too hard. He is that pure of heart and mind, and all the characters in the Grey Knights are basically like that. The only issue is that Grey Knights have a scorched earth policy.
Yeah, I know, right? The one thing you hear when you pay attention to stream. Suck my what?
More ways than one. If they're fighting demons, demons corrupt and make people crazy. So if I'm a guardsman and I'm fighting demons, and
oh my gosh, it's that anime! Oh my god. Do you guys know this one? Interspecies reviewers. I've heard of this one. I've heard of this one before. For those of you who don't know, I think the premise, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just some guy who lives in this fantasy world with his friend or something, and then they just go around to different brothels that have different species of these like monster girls, and they rate them based on their nightly experience with them. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, going around reviewing brothels.
Grey Knights arrive, and they kill all the
Don't ask me how I
demons.
know.
I'm a risk. And so, guess who's not making it out of there? On the tabletop, they're very strike fast, strike hard kind of people. They teleport all around the place. They are fast strike groups, small amounts of models because they're so dang strong. You only have so many characters, but with it, you get in there, you're very tough, very tanky, you hit really hard, and you try to bounce around the battlefield quickly, but you don't have numbers, and so every dead Grey Knight hits really damn hard. They're fun, though, if you like that kind of fast-striking kind of army. Oh, and also, Caldor Drago is a thing.
But that's an honestly insane armor design. I wonder how you could move in that. I mean, I get they're like magic guys, and this is a fantasy world, so you're probably not inhibited by moving around, but you probably get so sweaty in that thing. No, stop! No!
We're not even going to get into Caldor Drago. All right, that is, oh my goodness gracious. I am the hammer. I am the mail about his fist. I am the spear in his hand. Though we are lost, I am the shield on his arm. I am the flight of his arrows. I am the hammer. I am the sword. I am the shield. I am a soldier at the battle at the end of time.
Wow. So literally, they are the weapons of the Emperor. They do it all for the Emperor.
The Knights are pretty hardcore. They are as holy as you can get for a Space Marine. If you like Space Marines and you want to, you don't think they're holy enough, you want to be holier?
Want to be
Grey
holier?
Knights. Now you want to be holier and big. Let's talk Imperial Knights.
Oh Lord, he coming!
Do you like gigantic walkers the size of homes?
Oh my god, why are they so big?
Medium-sized
The size of homes. Just extra giant Gundams.
buildings? Do you want to kill heretics, but you want to kill like 40 of them?
40
per
of them.
turn? Do you want a gigantic old school knight noble house style of walkers with giant chainsaw arms? Then you got Imperial Knights. Imperial Knights, it's not a whole lot to talk about them because they're just gigantic walkers, but they have this old school like house feel to them. Like literally like they're houses. Each Imperial Knight comes from a house, and each of them act in their own.
Can you live inside an Imperial Knight though? With all that armor on them, there has to be some type of living space, right? Like a living space for whoever's piloting them to live inside.
Special way. These behemoth of walkers also destroy.
They're just there. They're just designed to look cool, and so they can kill a lot of people. Yeah, exactly. How many rooms? You know, like how much are you selling your Imperial Knight for? Well, 3 rooms. How many rooms is your Imperial Knight? 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms? Sold. Perfect for carrying out this crusade. 1 bed, 12 half bath. That's crazy. You just need extra bathrooms for all the troops to go, but no one's gonna be sleeping there.
Path, killing full swaths of squads in a couple shots, stepping on legions of troops. Like, these things do not mess around. And they look so cool. Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights, actually, for that matter, don't have a whole lot to discuss. They're just super big, heavy walkers, and they look different depending on your house or chaos god you currently believe in. And overall, these things are just really cool if you want to murder everything in your path. They're the big, scary, big unit of Warhammer, and if you want to collect them, go to town. They make for a great painting project, too. Game over back down
I mean, they look like they have more space to paint if you're doing a painting project.
to Earth. Let's talk something about a little bit different, a little more gold.
Gold.
If guardsmen are regular soldiers, Space Marines are super soldiers, Grey Knights are super soldiers.
Super.
The Adeptus Custodes are super soldiers cubed. The Adeptus
Cubed. Oh, he didn't say
Custodes
super,
are the
super.
third major army I own. I know 3 armies. I know. I got carried away. Okay, but that's all. I only have 3. Okay. They are our final brand of Space Marines, but these ones are super special. Okay, if
They
the
are
guardsman is 6
gold on
foot,
them.
a space marine is 7 feet, a custodian is 8 feet. These are the giant defenders of holy.
Wait, so they're even bigger? So each level of whatever soldiers these are, they just increase in size?
Terra, which is also Earth. Earth is Terra. Earth, Terra. Themselves. These are the people that literally guard the Emperor's throne room. Hence, custodians. These boys.
Oh, wait, these are the guys who are cleaning the Emperor. So these are the stinky ones. The custodians are the stinky ones. It's Warhammer 40k because that's how much you'll spend on it. For real. After seeing all these different factions and the different miniatures, you probably would be spending that much on it.
Protect the Emperor's throne room at all times and are literally like handcrafted people. They're not humans brought up by a gene seer or something. These are all handcrafted super soldiers. I think from a tube. These behemoth of men are like 8 feet, 8.5 feet tall, and functionally immortal. They stand still, spear in hand, for hundreds of years without the need to sleep and barely even the need to eat, watching over the throne room and every other area of Holy Terra for their entire.
So they just stand there and watch without eating or sleeping? And they have power and energy to do that? Sleep is overrated. I love sleeps. I need sleep. Sleep is amazing. A single custodian can sleep for 1,000 years. So if they don't sleep, I guess if they are GMO, they're genetically engineered to not sleep, huh? Just so they can guard their dear emperor.
Purpose in life. And oh my
yeah,
Lord.
exactly. Like, where's this physique going? Unless it's all the armor. What if they're all just like, what if all just skeletons inside of the armor? You know, they're all just stick men, stick bodies.
Are they terrifying? These custodians put Space Marines to shame. If you liked your super soldiers, these are your super mega soldiers.
Super
One of
mega.
these men can take on probably 3 Space Marines and most likely win. There are many different groups of custodians as well, like the Solar Watch, or there's also one of my personal favorite, the Aquilan Shield. The Aquilan Shield go out to seemingly unimportant individuals and protect them because they believe that they are going to be doing something very important in their lives. For instance, let's say a regular guardsman gets the protection of this giant 8.5 foot tall golden god because that guardsman will end up becoming a general one day or something of that nature. The custodians work in mysterious ways and are almost always outnumbered but never outmatched.
Outnumbered but never outmatched because they can just swing their sword and kill a bajillion people.
These people are pretty horrifying, both on the tabletop as well as in the lore. There are
Dang, so are these the most OP aside from the Emperor? Is this the most OP character in the game?
very few of them, however, and there's actually an extremely small amount of them, but that's kind of the point. There's only so many of these people that can have war gear this strong, weapons this powerful, and training this good. And the custodians have all 3 of it.
They're really good. Wow.
For 100 years, I stood my watch amidst the somber shadows of the Sanctum Imperialis. I was still as a statue, but always ready, always attuned to dangers unseen. Days, months, years passed by in a frenzied blur beyond those walls, yet within, little moved and nothing changed. For 100 years, I did not but wait, yet had any threat appeared, I would have struck it down in a heartbeat. For 100 years, I stood my watch, and as it ends, I can tell you this: patience is a weapon.
Okay, so they literally did just stand there for 100 years. That's wild. Just a yellow blur. You don't even see them moving. You see them stand the same place, but you're just cut in half.
The custodians are the top dogs of the Imperium, and
They can't let anyone know that they washed the Emperor. They can't let anyone know they stinky. Maybe that's why they stay there the whole time, because they know if they go out, the whole world will know they're stinky.
they hurt just that same way. Though I do want to discuss a little bit about the Sisters of Silence before we get out of here, because the Sisters of Silence I also have a few
Oh,
of, and
more
they're
sisters.
really fun.
What is that hairstyle? Why are they bald? Why are they... Oh, why are they bald? With just a little, like, ponytail at top. Is there a reason for this?
But they don't get enough attention. These kind of bald plume ladies are a whole group of Pariahs are also known as blanks. We'll be referring to them as blanks from now on.
Blanks.
So as every mind is somewhat connected to the warp, these blanks are a genetic mutation that has it suppressed heavily. Because of that mind suppression, normal people feel this weird, like, uncomfortable nature when around them.
Are you sure it's not just because of their bald head with the little plume on top? Their aura? The blank head aura?
Sister of Silence walks past them, you feel ill. You feel just uncomfortable and strange. So most of them don't actually live past childhood, because once they are birthed, they're, well, you know, killed or something at a very young age, because they just emit a horrifying...
You're gonna make me a sister? Is it time to make me a sister? Nah, the twin tails. Twin tails instead.
Aura. These ladies, however, are guardians of the throne as well for more
Okay.
psychic threats. See, none of the
Psychic
custodians
threats.
are psychers, so they have a difficult time dealing with major demons and other kinds of psychic phenomena. These sisters are extremely specialized in it, all of them taking a vow of silence as they don't
Oops,
speak.
accidentally
It's the term
forwarded
Sisters
a
of
bit.
Silence, but they communicate through hand gestures and things of that nature. But if there's a demon issue, if there's any kind of warp-based problem, the sisters are extremely adept at dealing with them, thanks to their blank gene. They normally work a lot of the time with the custodians because they have to deal with both kinds of threats, but they're not represented that way on the tabletop. In fact, they
So they're just misunderstood. They make people feel uneasy, but that's only because they're not connected to the Wi-Fi. The mind Wi-Fi of the warp.
only have like one real model for them, which is very unfortunate. I hope they'll get some like news soon, because I think they should really be working together as it is that way in the lore, but hopefully we'll get there soon. But if we're talking about blanks, let's talk assassins.
Assassins.
Gone forever.
It's been a long video. We're about to round it out. We got this and one more human thing, and then we're done.
Almost
the assassins,
there.
though, the Officio Assassinorum, oh boy, these people are deadly. Yeah, they're called assassins. They should be, but oh man, these people will mess you up. So these are from the Officio Assassinorum, a very special organization.
Officio Assassin.
And they're handpicked by the Grand Master of the Officio Assassinorum from the what was it called? Scola Progenium. It's basically an orphan school. Your parents got murdered by demons or something, you get sent to this and you get trained to be whatever.
So like Demon Slayer. This is like Warhammer, but Demon Slayer. Your parents get your parents get murdered by demons.
Tempestuous Drop Troop, an Inquisitor, maybe even. Maybe you get a blank gene and you get thrown into the Sisters of Silence, or sometimes you just disappear. When you are taken, however, you go to one of 4 temples, because the
Hashira
Assassinorum works in
faction.
a temple style of things. These temples are the Vindicare, Caluxus, Calidus, and Eversor temples. Let's start with the Vindicare. I'm far away. I've been sitting here for 3 weeks. Poof! The Vindicare temple is the main sniper-based temple. Gigantic sniper rifles for all these assassins. Their whole point is to be able...
That's a giant rifle to snipe people with, not gonna lie. I guess this is fantasy world, so it doesn't really matter. They'll be perfect snipers anyway. Bald breathing first form, blinding forehead. Blinding forehead no jutsu.
to be in a spot and sit there, eye and scope, for weeks, waiting for their perfect target, taking people out from...
There's a lot of characters in this game that just sit there and wait for like a long period of time, and they're okay without any food or water.
Literal miles away after extremely long time periods. The Vindicare Temple is about precise, perfect aim. There have been reports of Vindicares being able to single out particular body parts from over 2-3 miles away. Temples in the head, the jugular, for instance, and been sitting there after weeks. And when they're ready, take that shot, time is done, packs them up. The Calidus Temple, however,
Whoa! Whoa! Body tea? They just literally they really said give this one the body tea, but like Don't give her a face. Or gonna be fun if you cannot wait. Then just don't fight. Don't fight the war. Damn, body tea with the abs too.
About
Muscular
shape-shifting
muscle
and
mommy.
DeviantArt. It's
Mommy,
mostly
question mark?
a female-based one, or at least it seems to be.
Seems to be.
This allows a lot of body augmentation for certain individuals to be able to kind of transmorph themselves and infiltrate areas that are problems.
Okay, so they're like, you can give yourself plastic surgery to distract your enemies, is what I'm hearing here.
These assassins will end up taking missions that take them years, 2-3 years, to infiltrate a heretical group and slowly work their way up, just to get enough time to put a bullet into the main target's head and then escape unharmed. Or become the main target and sabotage it from within. These
Become
are
the
all
main
completely
target.
about deception, mind
The
tricks.
tactical BBLs, I'm dead! I'm dead. You're so right. They get the tactical BBLs. That's literally their whole modus operandi.
Polymorphing and everything in between, and lots of drawings. The Eversor Temple, just kind of disturbing one. The Eversor Temple is about when you don't want anything to come back alive, friend or foe. You want it all dead. An Eversor is psychogenically conditioned with just psychotherapy and psychological torture to only feel violence, hatred, and anger. It does the Clockwork Orange style of thing of just making you forced to watch never-ending pain and misery and psycho conditioning, I guess is the term. And then they pump you full of tons of psychedelic drugs and they cryo-freeze you.
Okay, so they make you watch things so you're psychologically tortured, and then they drug you up so you can't do anything about it, and then they don't give you painkillers so you feel yourself,
and then they drop you in an area where they just want to make sure everything is dead.
And then you just
full of just all this insane mind-boggling
damn
psychotherapy and psychedelic drugs, and you just go to town. Yeah, if you don't care if anyone
so they make you go through all of that so that you become one of them, and then you repeat the cycle.
Comes back alive. You're like, all right, lost cause, send them in. Finally, there's the most bizarre temple, the Caluxus Temple. The Caluxus assassins are feared even among the other temples. So that blank gene, the people will go to the Caluxus Temple with this as well. And this is where they can harness that to be massively anti-psyker or even just anti-regular. They're seen with extreme fear and distrust among many, many people. They're described by the Eldar, by quote, as being pure evil. Imagine that uncomfortable feeling from that blank gene I mentioned, and then imagine them being taught and given equipment to amplify it by 100. If normally regular people feel uncomfortable, now they are basically akin to being a siren wailing directly in your ear. And if you're a psyker, oh no, the sheer presence of a Caluxus assassin.
Oh, so it's like psychological torture here. And then if you're magical abilities or if you're a psyker, it makes it 100 times worse.
Is enough for you to tear your skin off. You will rather gouge your eyes out and rip your nails off than even being near this person. The Caluxus assassin is when you want psychers to literally lose their minds, and they will go on their knees and ask you to gun them down because it is a suitable choice over being anywhere near you. The motto of that temple is, that which is unknown and unseen commands the greatest fear. Now, for the tabletop, assassins aren't that special. You can call them in no matter what Imperium faction you are, and they do a lot of work for themselves, but at the same time, they're very specialized and require a lot of finesse.
Okay, so they are all just like assassins, but different types of assassins. Whoa.
And they work the way you generally want them to, though. You want to cause some distortion and weird stuff, you take a Calidus. You want to just murder swaths of infantry and then blow up Eversor. You want to kill that one guy, Vindicare, and if you have a lot of psychers, Caluxus. It's a nice little, like, jack of all trades if you have a specific thing you want to kill. And you get to choose which is really fun. But now,
You can choose which. Yes. I choose the tactical plastic surgery. Yes, the tactical BBLs.
let's talk about the last human faction. We can round this video out before we do part 2. The Inquisition. And we have a lot to talk about with them.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Heresy.
Where do I even begin with the Inquisition? Take every secret police you can
Oh,
think
secret
of.
police.
The KGB, the Gestapo, the CIA, FBI, any of these kinds of people. And then mark it up by about 10 and give them the most power in the entire Imperium.
Oh.
You know what? How about this? This right here, it's not just a quote. This is the Imperial motto, the motto of the Inquisition. I apologize for my bad pronunciation. Innocentia nihil probat. Innocence proves nothing.
That's wild.
The most powerful organization in the Imperium, the secret police, their #1 motto is innocence proves nothing. The Inquisition goes around like the secret police or like detectives.
Yeah, that's a cool outfit, though. That's a cool outfit. But they just literally go around and you're like, I'm innocent. They'll be like, that proves nothing to me. Kill them. Yeah, you're not innocent enough for me. Death.
To find issues in the Imperium. And they have different ordos depending on which one we're talking about. The Ordo Hereticus, the Ordo Xenos, the Ordo Malleus, for instance, and a whole bunch of other ones. Hereticus is obvious. They
Whoa.
heretics. Xenos tries to find alien threats.
Whoa, these designs are cool though. That's a cool design.
And Malleus is demons. They all have different specializations in what they're trying to go for as this Inquisitor. And that's what they're called, Inquisitors. Each of them, as an Inquisitor, has their own free reign to do as they wish. They may have a ship and a crew, and they go out to find problems and interrogate people a lot. They are above the law in every department over Space Marines. Now, the Space Marines might argue against them and stuff, and there might be a lot of blowback, but technically they are above them as Inquisitors. They are looking to investigate and figure out coups and cults and demonic incursions and...
Okay, so they're just there to like kill demons. But if they're wrong, and they accuse you of being a demon when you're a human, you're screwed. Because they're like, I don't care. It's my judgment. Your innocent does not prove.
Possible Xenos issues like gene stealers or a new threat coming into an area. They're about learning that stuff and actually doing detective work. And memes aside, they're pretty good at it. The Inquisition having all of this power does make them a little bit power hungry and frantic sometimes. And yes, it is still a bad thing, but most of them are pretty good at their job.
Is that Marie Antoinette, but Inquisitor version? What is this design?
And they spend a lot of time being very diligent to make sure that all of these leads they follow are proper and correct. They're basically space detectives with just enormous power and
space
sometimes a bit of a power
detectives.
complex. And we haven't even
With
talked
power.
about Exterminatus yet. Exterminatus. Exterminatus is deeming a planet unfit to be saved. I deem that this planet is demon infested and taking it back will cost too many resources and is not worth it. I have now committed exterminatus on this planet. I will now sign the death warrant of an entire Imperium planet.
Dang. So literally just exterminate. Exterminate. The whole planet.
As it is unfit to take and better to be destroyed than allow the enemy to hold it. This can mean saturation bombardments.
Why are there so many Tommy mommies? Apparently it's because that's what the main demographic is of people who are into Warhammer.
This can mean cracking the planet's core and breaking it apart. Doesn't matter. Render this planet inhospitable to all life. Yes, the innocence proves nothing people are the only people who can choose this planet must die in its entirety. Yeah, You're playing the villain. Now, it is memed a lot, but most Inquisitors are very rare to do Exterminatus. Exterminatus is a very crazy thing. There's only so many worlds that you don't want to destroy all of them. Now, naturally, with the memes aside, there are some people who are a little bit rough on this one. But most Inquisitors generally don't like to do Exterminatus a ton, but it is an option they have. And it's a crazy option. When
Definitely not gay for Celestine.
Secret Police Inquisition are unfortunately not represented on the tabletop very much. You generally kind of put one in your army if you feel like it. You have a couple special options there and some side content, but they're not really fleshed out very well, and personally they need a lot more stuff put in there, and they really need a lot more effort put into them, and they're not quite where I want them to be. Overall, the Inquisition makes for a lot of the best storytelling as well, because it's a little bit hard to talk about a big story of a whole bunch of Space Marines killing something, right? It's just a big battle story. It's not as interesting.
That's true though. That's true though. Having the Inquisitors being like space detectives and having the power to do all this extra stuff does make for some cool storytelling. Yeah, and then they try to save it and then they exterminate if it's not within their power. That makes sense.
Having that intrigue and that moral dilemma that an Inquisitor has makes for a lot better media. And honestly, the more people do it, I think it's better, because then it adds a little more humanity to the Warhammer horrible, horrible grimdarkness. And wow, we just finished the humans, all right? Come back for part 2 when we talk about
There's
Chaos
more?
and Xenos, because we got to talk about the 4 Chaos Gods and all the Chaos Marine Legions and the Tau and the Necrons and the Orcs, and oh boy, we got a lot. I'll see you in part 2.
Part 2! If we can't save it, we can't let the enemy have it. True. If we can't have it, no one can. That's wild. There's a lot. That was actually almost a whole hour of the Warhammer. Part 2 too? Yeah, that was a lot to take in. I think I'll react to part 2 probably on another stream. You know, just let this one marinate. Let the human factions marinate a bit, and then we'll get to part 2 for the non-human factions. Thanks for watching! I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I did. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and check out my Twitch.